Burn Pro Wrestling Podcast, where all professional wrestling storylines live. I am your host, Matt Brannon, and we have I believe the official term is a shit ton to get through today, all right? Obviously, last night, oh my God, what a night. Okay, first off, let's go ahead and just say I was fucking wrong, all right? I was wrong. I missed it, okay? I think I let my fandom get in the head of my expertise, but yeah, I missed that one, and we'll get to it. I want to talk about all of it, but welcome anyway. Let's talk about some Saturday night's main event. I know I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it. We're going to briefly talk about Collision as well. I want to set the tone for the week that we just had. Guys, this was a hell of a week of professional wrestling, and then we have a huge week coming up because they're all big, right? But this one here, even bigger as we get ready for the road to WrestleMania, guys. Saturday, less than a week away, the Royal Rumble. Next Sunday at this time, we will know some of our main events for WrestleMania, guys. And if you can't get excited for that, I can't help you. So, welcome. Glad to be here. We got a lot to talk about, but let's go ahead and get started. First off, I hope you really enjoyed the Spanish announce team last night at the beginning of Saturday night's main event. All right, that one, I went into like panic mode because I started it a little late. I didn't watch live. I was a little bit behind. So like we started, and then all of a sudden I hear all of the Spanish announce team on top of Joe Tess and Jesse Ventura, and here I was. I just want to hear Jesse. Like, give me my Jesse. But that was not good technical start to the night. But overall, we got through it. We got enough Michael Cole. We got enough Pat McAfee, and you know what? We got a lot of Jesse Ventura. By the way, Jesse was freaking awesome last night. So if you can't get behind that, you can't dig it, right? And Jesse last night calling out the refs was so fun. Anyway, Saturday night's main event. Okay. I was wrong. And I like it. All right. I don't know how else to say it. I will say, I'm going to sit here and say I was wrong. I got all of them right except the main event, right? So I called the Rhea match. We knew that one. I had a feeling that the Jacob match would be insanity. The Jacob Braun Strowman match would be insanity. I called the IC match the right way. So like I was kind of on, except for I'm a man that can admit it. The biggest one I missed. All right. I let my fandom get in the way. Actually, I think I let my wife's fandom get in the way. I just thought Jimmy was due, man. I thought that he's been doing so amazing right now. He's carrying the company. He's the hottest baby. I don't care. I'm wearing a Cody shirt today, right? I'm wearing a Cody shirt, but I don't care. Right now, Jay, to me, has superseded Cody. He has overtaken Cody as far as the top baby face in the company. I thought he would come through last night. The match was really good. And I want to say that overall, it kind of really almost helped Jay in a way. That loss isn't going to affect Jay. And I'm going to get to that. But overall, I thought the night was really good. Guys, I even said that I thought for some reason I was a little more excited for Saturday night's main event for this week than I was the first one. And, you know, I've been very adamant about the nostalgia of it and how excited I am for all of these. But last night, I don't know. It had a little bit more to it for me. I don't know if it was just the fact that I got the first one in, so now I'm really looking forward to this. Maybe it was the fact that I knew I was going to get extra Jacob Fatu. That probably had something to do with it. But I thought overall, just the excitement level of this show was good. I thought that it had a potential to go in a very positive direction. And to be honest with you, that's what it did. It was more of a throwback to the old Saturday night's main events to me. I thought that the initial, when we brought it back, the Saturday night's main event, we had the tribal combat. You know, we had the Seth v. Drew. The Punk v. Seth stuff. Like we had a lot going on with Seth and Punk and the tribal combat, but it had pay-per-view feel to it. It had PLE feel to it. I thought last night was more like a Saturday night's main event. You know, don't adjust your television. Saturday Night Live will not be brought to you tonight. Stay tuned for the WWE Saturday night's main event. And then you hear the music, and next thing you know, you're going to get Hulk Hogan and friggin' Paul Orndorff in a cage, right? The thing about that is back then, that storyline might not have been Hogan's grand thing. I mean, think back when he first was fighting Bundy, he matched up with King Kong Bundy on Saturday night's main event. And that's where you started that story. So it's not like you were drawn in to these PLE type stories. You just got continuation. And I think that's what I really enjoyed about it. That and the matches were good. The matches were very good. Speaking of which, let's get to the matches. All right. No need to keep stressing stuff out. We are rushed for time today, guys. So if it feels like I'm glossing over stuff, it probably is because I am. But the women's match is how we opened it up. I called that one I was on fire early on, right? I was on fire early on, and then comes the main event. Wah, wah. But bottom line on that women's match is I thought they both looked fairly good. I mean, the match wasn't great. Sometimes when you have these matches with Nia that they're not going to be the most electric matches, so you try to look for other things. For me, I was looking for power. I thought we got a lot of power, although I want to say that I don't know. The Riptide finisher wasn't good. My wife and I were speaking about that. Sometimes that Riptide, although I love Rhea, she's one of the strongest that I've ever seen as far as female wrestlers and how she appears and what she does in the ring. I've always kind of thought that the finisher was a little lacking. And I thought that last night it wasn't very good. But the match as a whole was good. So it almost like we got to that finisher point. So I was okay with it. It wasn't like it was a flub and that we got the 1, 2, 3. Like it worked as far as the pacing of the match. The other thing that I thought that was really good with that is I think I like where we have Nia moving forward. And there's no mystery. I'm not a huge Nia Jax fan. I think she's doing better work now than she's ever done, especially on the mic. Her cadence is a little repetitive, but I mean that's wrestling, so you can't hardly deal with that a ton. But I like the idea of where we're moving Nia going forward, like the idea of her coming in as the unstoppable force for the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble. And she's very adamant. Like she's going to win this thing and she's going to take whatever she wants to take. Now, I want to say, excuse me. I want to say that she's not winning the Rumble. The vignette showed who's going to win the Rumble. Charlotte's winning this damn Rumble. All right. Welcome back, Queen, again. But yeah, I like the direction of Nia. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be upset if Nia got a little bit more of like, say, an Undertaker treatment in this year's Rumble. Like, let's not do it where she's in the ring and now it takes 10 people and let's all gang up on her and throw her over. The old Undertaker treatment or the old Battle Royal Big John Studd treatment or Andre the Giant treatment. Keep that in mind. We're going to talk a little bit about them coming up. But I think that we need Nia to have an actual development in this Rumble, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's one of the last two people there. It makes the sell of who wins this even more if she is one of those last two. So I liked it. That takes us to the IC match. I know, guys. I know. It's just so sad. It's so sad. Maybe he's not going to win it, guys. Maybe Sheamus isn't going to win this belt. It's crazy to me. I mean, the guy's been there for 20 years, and here we are. By the way, Jesse Ventura mentioning the Battle Royal he called of him over and over again. I thought that was really good. That's some pretty good foreshadowing. But I thought the match was good, guys. These guys bang every single time. I got to witness a match of Sheamus and Braun in person in St. Louis not long ago, and it was fantastic at the Raw that we had went to. And I thought this match was more of the same. You knew you were going to get hard-hitting action. Braun looks so good. He's so athletic. His spear is one of the best in the business right now. I thought his Frankensteiner last night looked better than it had looked. The part of the match, though, that was best was Jesse Ventura's line. He's a Steiner. If you're a Steiner, 2 + 2 = 5. Somewhere Steiner math is going crazy in Big Papa Pump's head, and he's thinking, is that exactly what I wanted it to be? But regardless, the match was good. Sheamus doesn't get the belt. That gives Sheamus a little bit of heat coming into the Royal Rumble, too. So I kind of like that. What are we going to do with Braun at the Rumble? I don't know. I assume he'll be in the Rumble match. But kind of interesting to see where they're going to go with that. The time is going to come for Sheamus, maybe, but it is getting a little late in the game. Now, I want to say this before we move on to our next match, our next segment, rather. What's next for Braun? Okay, think about this for a minute. I'm not exactly sure the direction that we're going to go with this. It could go in a bunch of different ways, I think. Let's see if we get somebody stepping up this week. All right, let's see if we get somebody stepping up. I have a feeling, hear me out, right? Hear me out. we might have a little Braun Dominic Mysterio coming. We're foreshadowing way down the road here. All right, I'm calling it right now. Dom Mysterio for IC champ. You heard it here first. Okay, right here on the Slow Burn. All right, that gets us to the segment of the night, which was Cody and KO. First off, freaking KO coming down. His shirts are just genius. Number one, I'm sure you guys have kind of realized I'm a wrestling shirt junkie, and KO has the best in the game. But last night with the Cody sucks eggs shirt, if you don't know what that's from, guys, way back in the '80s, there was in the NWA territories, Mid Atlantic, you had a huge showdown between Terry Funk, one of the greatest of all time, R.I.P. Funker, and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Funker being the bad guy, Dusty being the good guy. They went at it. I mean, this is one of the most hated blood feuds that you're ever going to see, especially back here in those days, this early '80s NWA. Well, Funk wore the shirt that was Dusty Sucks Eggs. So last night, as soon as Kevin comes out, as soon as KO gets out there and I see Cody Sucks Eggs, I'm like in the floor. And by the way, it is available and you can order it. So just saying, I have not done that yet. If anybody wants a slow burn gift for me, there you go. I want the Cody Sucks Eggs to go on top of my Cody shirt that I'm wearing today, right? I thought the segment was perfect. I thought the segment was absolutely perfect. I thought HBK was perfect. How awesome was it? Was it awesome that we got to see HBK get physical? The best super kick in the history of super kicks, Sweet Chin Music. I wish you would have tuned up the band. I think we all did. Pat called for it too. But overall, that segment was so good. I love the look HBK gave KO when he said, "Man, you sound jealous." Like, that was so to the point, so realistic. Like, and then you saw KO's eyes, like, the fuck you just say to me? Like, that to me was so good. That worked. That segment was spot on. They could not have nailed that segment any better. The fact that we're going to get that ladder match next Saturday at Royal Rumble. Guys, I got news for you. This match is going to be ultra violent. All right. It is going to be ultra violent. This is going to be a very, very high energy ladder match. Guys, KO will do anything to entertain us. Thank you very much. I have a feeling we're going to get like a Triple H Mick Foley type match here. I really do. That's what I'm kind of looking for. I'm looking for that type of tone. And I think that's what we're going to get. Now, here's the question. Does it end the feud there? Time will tell. Okay, but the setup for that segment, I got freaking chills thinking about it, right? But the setup for that segment was it was good, and you couldn't have done any better with two of the best in the business, along with one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. Definitely, probably the greatest worker of all time. But nice to see him. Now that brings us to stage two, guys. May I say, fa two, fa two. If you are not on the Jacob Fatu train, leave me alone. Okay, guy's the best. He's the best going right now. All right, I know I'm in the buzz. I'm part of this, but guys, what he is doing is genius work. His promos are electric. His body movements, his facials in the ring. He's a freaking powerhouse that moves like Rey Mysterio. Like, it's insane to me the stuff that this guy can do. I mean, I said this match was to cement him moving forward. I thought Braun Strowman did a fantastic job at putting him over. He got his licks in too, which also showed that Fatu wasn't completely invincible, which you guys know I'm not a fan of invincibility. I thought that was a good look. Overall, just a really, really quality show. The disqualification had to happen. You knew that was going to happen. I could have called that well beforehand. The blood was a great little added on network television, mind you. So that was good. Maybe a little late on the blood after eight hip attacks into the corner, but regardless, I really liked the direction that this went. And someone asked me earlier. They said, "What's next for Jacob?" And I said, "Who cares?" Like, I don't give a damn who they put him up against. One thing I want to say is they're going to mess around and Tama Tonga is going to become a fan favorite. Okay, I know people have been kind of anti him, but you're starting to see the crowd that yeah. That whole thing is. Trust me, this whole Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu thing is getting ready to take on a life of its own. And I got news for you, WWE brass, you can't make him a heel. I'm sorry, you can't. Last night, he literally destroyed Braun Strowman, one of the fan favorite baby faces. I mean, wiped the mat with him, and you had people asking for more. One more time, one more time. And at the end, you had fa, two, fa, two. Like, the crowd was eating him up, and they were shocked that it was happening too. And that's like that organicness of the crowd that you really felt. It was great. It was great. But again, I don't see how they can possibly make him a heel. I'll throw this out there. You put him in with Cody right now, the crowd's split. Okay, I'm saying it right now. You put him. The only way he can go heel completely, and I still don't know if it's 100%, is if he's with Jay. And honestly, that does nothing for Jay except put him backwards. So that's not a story that you can do. You've got to keep Jay's momentum going forward. I still think we might get a Jay championship at Mania. You kind of get the sense that somebody needs to finish a story. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a story times 2 this time around, but you couldn't do that, and that's the only way. So he's not going to be a babyface. He's not going to be a heel. I think he's just going to be in that air of like Austin, that air of like late '90s, early 2000s Triple H, jean jacket Triple H. He's ruthless. He's doing a lot of bad things, but I freaking love him. And I think that's what we're going to get out of Jacob Fatu. The other thing we're going to get out of him is more and more personality. I really like that. His promo personality, the in-ring personality, the hollowness in his eyes when he kind of got into the idea of, I'm hurting this dude. Yeah, I'm here for it all. I'm here for it all. And guys, we're seeing something that could be very, very special with Jacob Fatu. Here's hoping he stays healthy through Mania season. All right, because the directions they could go with him for this. By the way, he's not going to be a main eventer at Mania. He can't be yet. But what it does is you have a year worth of crap that you can throw on this dude and can keep this going. My question is it Bloodline anymore after that, or is Jacob Fatu is he his own thing? I don't know. The Samoan Werewolf might have his own faction. This could go in so many different directions, especially with all of the other kinfolk still in the wings coming. So anyway, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Now that brings us to the main event. Gunther and Jay. I don't know. I missed this one. I didn't do a good pick. I got my emotions kind of ahead of me, and I kind of got into the idea that everyone was picking against Jay, so I thought this is the swerve. This is the swerve. This is where they get him, and I missed, and that happens. So it's probably going to happen a hell of a lot more, especially with Mania season coming up, because I'm going to get a little bit more bold as we go out there. But I'm kind of curious as to what others thought of this match. Like, did you think that it kept Jay's momentum going? Did you think that Jay continued to look strong? Did you think it gave Gunther the rise to carry on something next? Or does Gunther have to stick around and feud with Jay? That could be an interesting little thing. Gunther had that look of respect in him. Now, I do want to say one thing about the match is we had something happen that you guys know that we've talked about on here, and that was that Jay dropped the Uso splash and Gunther kicked out. And in all honesty, you're probably thinking, wait a second, you're against that. I say no. Gunther powerbombed Jay. Remember that. Gunther did give him that stack power bomb, which he uses as a finisher sometimes, and he kicked out of it. So with that said, if we're going on equals and we stick by the philosophy that I like to go with finisher finishes, I'll say it worked. Also, a match like that with so much emotion, the false finish that really worked. But I will say the finish kind of fell a little flat. It was almost a little anticlimactic. And honestly, I think it was because the crowd didn't realize that it was really getting ready to end. They were so into the action that I felt like they were like, "Wait a second, was that a 3 count?" And that's kind of how it went. So overall, the match was fantastic, though. Those two are two of the best in the world, two of the best to do it now, ever, however you want to look at it. And let me go ahead and say, if you're out there and you still look at Jey Uso as a tag team wrestler, I got something for you. Here, it's right here in my pocket. Let me grab it. It's right there. Okay. Oh, on the other pocket, I have about Jimmy Uso too. You think Jimmy's just yeah, that one was for you too. These dudes are not tag team wrestlers. These dudes are two of the best professional wrestlers in the business, and it's kind of crazy to think that we're talking about these two. I'm 37 years old. I'm 38 maybe, and that we're really getting ready to enter maybe another stratosphere for these guys. With that said, though, if you give me a tag match with them again, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I need maybe a comeback. Oh, here's an idea. The TNA partnership. How about we get a little exhibition? Usos versus Hardys, right? I don't know, just something to throw out there. Got a lot of shit we can talk about for Mania. Overall, the match was great. I loved it. Overall, the card was great. Overall, the night was great. I enjoyed the show. Even though I missed, I enjoyed the show. I graded Saturday night's main event at an A minus. Which you might kind of be surprised about, considering that I keep bitching about the fact that I missed the main event. But regardless, good show. Glad we got to deal with it. That brings me to the second half of my night, Saturday night, and that was for AEW Collision. I wrote on Facebook this morning, interesting. It was, yeah, it was interesting, and I'm gonna stick with that. And I prefaced it with the fact that I'm not saying it was bad, not saying it was good. It was interesting. There was some high moments. I'm a Samoa Joe guy, all right, and we got to see Samoa Joe and Nick Wayne early on. Nick Wayne's fun. That dude takes bumps. Hell, he's 20 years old, something like that. I would like to see in the future Nick Wayne versus Javon Evans. Give me that down the road, right? Um, I'm here for that one. Let's make that happen. AML, you know those guys. So I'm all about the Nick Wayne bumps, but Joe humiliated him. He did his thing, and I was really happy that AEW didn't book Nick Wayne to get over at all on Joe. Joe dominated that match. We had the helpers come in. We had Hook and Shibata show up. So I don't know. The patriarchy Hook Samoa Joe thing may not be over yet. I don't know. I'm going to do something with Christian, I guess. So we'll see. And that's part of the interestingness here of this show. But I will say, yesterday in my short, I mentioned that I was excited for one match in particular, and that was the Okada versus Commander match. And they billed that as belt versus belt, champion versus champion. And I said yesterday, I wasn't sure if they were actually going to have the titles on the line, or was it just for the Continental Championship? Was it just for the Ring of Honor TV Championship? They didn't say. They just said they booked it as champion v champion. Well, first off, no belts were on the line. They didn't even let us know that until about, I don't know, 3 minutes into the match. So, and I know most people probably don't care, but here I am. We're starting this match. You haven't done the whole introductions, so I'm gathering that it's not for a title, but still, you've booked this as champion v champion. So I don't know, wording, and I guess that was interesting. The match was freaking great. The match was really, really good. Okada's heel work is really funny. His grasp of the English language is better than what people think it is. That when he bitch, that whole thing that he's doing, it's funny. I like it. The one thing I will say is Okada almost seems to be getting a little bit more momentum since the Young Bucks are done, since the Elite are gone. So my hope is that when the Bucks come back here in a couple of weeks, which we know is going to happen, let's leave Okada out of this thing. Let's let Okada create his own path here in America, because that's what he deserves. I mean, he's supposed to be one of the best in the world, so let's let him show it. What else happened on Collision? First off, my favorite segment, as always, is going to be a segment that involves Powerhouse Hobbs. The Hobbs v. Bill stuff that they're doing right now, okay, take my money. I'm good with this. Those two dudes, some big meaty men slapping some big meat. That's what you're dealing with there. And I will tell you, these are two of the most improved guys that we have in the game right now. So I'm here for it, guys. So decent little outside the parking lot little match. We're setting up more for Hobbs and Big Bill. I like where they're setting. Don't rush this. Please don't rush it. Let it marinate a little bit. Let it marinate. Let the juices seep in, right? What else did we have? Give me more of the Hobbs stuff is what I said. I mentioned yesterday they had that regrouping of the Jericho Appreciation Society without Jericho, with Daniel Garcia, Daddy Magic, and Cool Hand Angelo Parker taking on the Undisputed Kingdom. Good to see Adam Cole. Adam Cole looked good in that match. Other than that, I didn't think it was a decent. I mean, it was a filler. It was a time filler, is all it was. So you know what that is going in, and that's okay. Hounds of Hell looked good. That's that new Brody King group. The tag match with Buddy Murphy. They took on Gates of Agony. Brody King is a freaking animal. And let's push these two. Buddy Murphy's great. in ring anyway. I guess he's going to take on Okada at Grand Slam in Australia in his home country. So got that going on. What else happened? There was a pointless women's match for a number one contendership to take on Mercedes at Dynamite. I think Yuka won that one. I'll be honest. I think I was fixing me some ice cream at that time or something. I'm not really exactly sure, but I did walk away without pausing it. That's my fault. That's bad journalism, guys. But overall, I thought that match was pointless. The Hounds of Hell looked good. Let's see, what else did we have here? Oh, the main event: Takeshita versus Shibata. Really good wrestling, and that's why I say that this whole thing was interesting. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. There was some good matches. There was some quality stuff in there. There was some filler. There was some wasted time. It was just okay. But there was one thing that did happen that I'm going to grade at an A for me personally. We have the return of Timeless Tony Storm. Please, Tony's back, baby. And it was all a ruse. The greatest acting job of all time. Tony's freaking fantastic. Tony and Mariah in Australia is going to be the match of the night. Mark my word right now. It's going to get bloody. It's going to get violent. There's going to have a little bit of everything with it. So, yeah, I'm here. It's going to be interesting this week on Dynamite and Collision moving forward to see what more we get out of Timeless Tony Storm. But she did say very clear she was going to rip her tits off. You know how Tony is. So let's do it. I'm so glad she's back. I am so freaking glad Timeless Tony Storm was back. That made everything that I dealt with in that show better. All right. I graded the show a C. By the way, I graded the show a C because it was average. It was interesting. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was meh. Tony Storm is good. All right. The week that was, guys, we have had so much. I'm not counting everything for the week. We literally have Sunday to Sunday because we had TNA Genesis. We had a lot, but I did my awards. Last week I didn't get to do my awards because of the ravaged sickness in my house, but I did do my awards. I did top 2 for everything. Let's see here. Match of the week this week. Match of the week. I went with Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. I thought that was a good match. It gave you a little bit of everything. It was hard hitting. It was good action. And it had good story leading up to it. And it left some more out there. I think there's more there. What did I give second for match of the week here? I did Tony D'Angelo versus Ridge Holland on NXT, strictly for a wrestling match. It was just a really good wrestling match. Promo of the week, I did a tie. I'm not doing a 1 or a 2. I did a tie. A promo of the week to me goes in 2 different settings by the same person and 2 different settings by the same person. Promo of the week is a tie this week between Jacob Fatu and KO. All right. The KO one in particular is his face-off with Joe Testator at Raw. The Fatu stuff to me was last night. I mean, that just, wow. Thank you. Give me more. So that was our promo of the week. Our moment of the week. This one was tough, but you know what I did? Because I believe in Joe Hendry. Yeah, that's our moment of the week. TNA champion Joe Hendry. Congratulations, Joe. Again, I'm going to say it again. If you have not ever encountered this man, he is literally one of the most awesome, down-to-earth, kind human beings I've ever been around. So, Joe Hendry, congratulations. And ushering in this new era of TNA, and I cannot freaking wait. The other moment I gave was Jey Uso last night entrance with the little boy. That was so freaking awesome. That moment that's just, if you don't like that, I don't like you. Let's see, what else do we have? So our promo of the week, our match of the week, our show of the week. I'm going with Saturday night's main event. All right, I'm going with Saturday night's main event. So there you go. Not a bad week. A lot of stuff. Tomorrow, we're going to go over Raw. Don't forget, tomorrow, I am going to be live at Raw. So we're not going to have our normal Monday show. I'm going to do a segment of lives. Also, I'm going with a good friend of mine. He's treating me to this. He has gotten back into wrestling because of the slow burn. So I'm so excited to share this. Trey, we got a big day coming up for us. We're going to have a good time, and I cannot wait to get you involved in the slow burn. And guys, I love that. I've had so many people say, hey, I'm watching wrestling again because of you. So there we go. Big on me. Very Horowitz for me. That brings me to our Mount Rushmore. I'm so running out of time. My Mount Rushmore I did today was big men. Okay, and I know this is going to create some arguments, and I'm going to continue this a little bit tomorrow, but I did Mount Rushmore big men. All right, Andre the Giant, The Undertaker, Bruiser Brody, Yokozuna. That's it. Psycho Sid, Kane, Vader, Giant Baba. Shit, you could even say Hogan. All of these, so many options. We do. Andre the Giant, The Undertaker, Bruiser Brody, Yokozuna. This is Slow Burn.